Welcome to the Stark Effect. I am your host, Kaleef Starks. Today's show will cover some of the most popular entertainment news and trending topics. I know you all have your ears and eyes to the streets, and I'm ready to get to it. I've got you covered. Today's topics include the release of Beyonce's Renaissance film and the recent skin bleaching allegations that she has received, as well as her surprise song drop of My House. I jammed it last night, y'all. We'll also be covering the backlash at Dolly Parton's recent Thanksgiving Day performance. And then we'll also chat about the Color Purple soundtrack and much, much, much more. To help me break down these topics, I'll be hanging out with a friend of mine, Maya Broomfield. Maya Broomfield, thank you for stopping by.
Thank you for inviting me.
It's such an honor. Awesome. So Maya Broomfield is from San Antonio, Texas. She has her Bachelor of Arts in Mass Communications from Prairie View A&M University. While at Prairie View, Maya was the head producer of Panther News Network and Zone 4 The Session. She was also one of the co-producers of the 2023 Ladies Professional Golf Association tournament hosted in Houston, Texas. Currently, she is a master's student here in Los Angeles at the University of Southern California, studying specialized journalism with a focus on arts and culture. She has become one of the co-editors of the news vertical Black, which has allowed her to cover a diverse range of topics such as music, race, and justice. So thank you. Thank you for being here. So since, you did go to Prairie View University, tell me, how does it feel to now attend a PWI, predominantly white institution, University of Southern California? Like, how has that transition been for you?
It's definitely been a culture shock at times, going from like a complete, environment where it's like 98% Black and everybody looks like you. And of course you have to deal with other things of like insecurities, like, oh, I hope I look good, hope my outfit's cute, but you never had to worry about being Black. So this is like the first time in like 4 years that I had to even be like, oh wow, I'm the only Black person in the room. But I think it's definitely been eye-opening, because a lot of the stereotypes that I thought going to HBCU, they were always like, oh, HBCUs are unorganized, or they're ghetto, da da da. I came to PWI, and some of the same issues that we had at HBCU, I'm still having them at PWI. So it's definitely been eye-opening to know, like, no, those are just racist stereotypes.
So what are some of the issues that are similar?
Financial aid, that's the biggest one, because at HBCU, you got to fight for your money at HBCU. And I think that's the same here at PWI. I definitely had to go visit the financial aid office a couple times, just like I did at HBCU. I think that's like the biggest stereotype.
Right. Now, according to the Smart Assets Analysis, Prairie View does rank as #1 in best value in regards to HBCUs. And also, according to the National Bureau of Economic Research, Black students at HBCUs were 33% more likely to graduate at a HBCU versus a PWI. What are your thoughts about that?
I think it does make sense, because at HBCU, everyone's encouraging you. Everybody, like all my professors, like they knew that we're Black, and they knew that we have so many things stacked against us in society, like institutional racism, just racism in general, in the media, in the government, everywhere.
Yeah.
So it's a place where it really feels like a family. Like your professors, they will literally call you. Like I had my professor's phone number. They were texting me like, hey, where are you at? Why are you not coming to class?
Right.
So they definitely create an environment where they want you to thrive. And I feel like sometimes at PWI, you don't get that personal experience.
So you felt like there was a more sense of community, a more sense of care.
My professors felt like my aunties and my uncles, even though there was a respect. Like I definitely wasn't being too friendly with them, but it still like felt like they cared.
That's my auntie there. That's
now that I graduated, they be on my Instagram like, I'm so proud of you, da da da, like so it's a family.
I love that, and I love that you spoke about the sense of community and it being a family, because HBCUs do tend to have a stigma to them, where people kind of like judge or feel that HBCUs are less than PWIs. What are your thoughts about that?
I think that's just like racist stereotypes. Anything that's Black is lesser value. If it's Black, it's not as good as like white. I think that's been a long tradition, or not. I want to say tradition, but that's just been a long narrative that we've had in our country since this country was founded. So I think that's where that comes from. And sometimes in our society, white is seen as like the high class.
Like white is
right. White is right. If you can be like a white person, then you've made it in life. And I think that's where that narrative comes from. even though that's not the case.
Which isn't true.
Yeah, at all.
Thank you so much for sharing about
problem.
that. So now we're going to talk more about some entertainment news stuff.
I'm excited.
I don't know if you heard, so Dolly Parton is facing a lot of criticism and backlash due to her recent Thanksgiving Day performance for the Falcons game. So, apologies, the Cowboys game, and the Cowboys outfit that she had on. She received a lot of like ageist comments about, you know, her being an older woman. What are your thoughts about that? Because I thought she looked cute.
Yeah, and I'm gonna just put it out there. I might be a little biased because I love Dolly Parton. Like, I love her story, her humble, like, you know, coming coal miner's daughter.
She's a legend.
And she's done so much for the community, and even for females, just being proud. Like, even though she's, you know, she's talked openly about plastic surgery and altering her look, she still comes from an authentic place where she's proud, and she's like, I want to look like this because this would makes me feel pretty. And I think this is consistent with that. That's what made her feel pretty. And I'm not gonna lie, the outfit.
Right, it was cute.
Gorgeous.
She was
the rhinestones, what? Right. Her body.
I was like, look, she the girls. Okay. It looked good. It looked good. But she's a legend.
Yeah, and I think it just shows that our society, you know, I feel like we have made progress as far as like feminism and stuff, but I think there still is that ageism problem that we have, whereas, you know, women are taught like after a certain age, you can no longer be sexy, you can no longer show your body.
Yeah, I definitely feel like ageism is still a real thing. You know, there's always this notion against women that as soon as you hit 30 or 40, life is over. And it's just not true. And you know, for me, I think Dolly is a representation of like, I'm still living my life and I still look good. I'm still wearing what I want to wear.
Exactly.
Okay, I'm Dolly Parton. Put some respect on it.
And I feel, I just love her doing her thing and being herself because I've seen like entertainers like Rihanna, Beyonce. They're only, Rihanna's in her 30s and Beyonce just is in her early 40s, and they've already tried to say like, oh, they're too old, they're a mother, they can't do that. And Dolly's like, watch, bet I'm gonna do it, you know. And I love it.
I'm so glad you brought up Beyonce because that's the perfect transition. You know, Beyonce's Renaissance film came out. It's doing its thing in theaters now. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to see it yet, but I heard that you got to see the film. What were your thoughts?
I love it. I think it definitely showed, you know, the behind the scenes. Like, we got to see it. She was very intimate. Like, she let us see completely into her. And, you know, a lot of times people try to say Beyonce is too secretive, but this film, she showed us everything. She showed us her kids, her husband. She was showing her parenting about, like, becoming a mom and, like, being with her children and being around her children. So it's just really cool. Especially Texas girl. I grew up loving Beyonce. Like, I was doing the at 3.
Dangerously in Love?
Yes.
Look, when I tell you how I rushed to Kmart to get Dangerously in Love, I was not playing no
My
games,
first concert was Beyonce concert.
Now,
I think it was the B-Day album.
Where did you see her? Because I remember you told me you saw her when you were really, really young. Where were y'all at? Was it like a mall in
I
Houston?
saw her at the Texas stock show.
Oh,
the rodeo, the Texas rodeo in Houston. She came and performed when I was like, I had to be like 5 or 6, I think. That was like my first time, and it was big because it's like she's like the queen of Houston. So.
She really is. Shout out to Beyonce. Also, too, you know, she's been receiving a lot of criticism. You know, they had the silver carpet, the platinum carpet. That's what they had, and she received a lot of like backlash for her skin tone in the photos that came out. What are your thoughts about that?
Well, first of all, Beyonce has always been like you know, lighter complexion. She comes from a mixed race background.
Because they're saying that she's skin bleaching.
No, she's always been light. And even in the film, like, if you watch the film, there's a lot of scenes where she doesn't have any makeup on, and she's very light. Her mother's very light. She's of Creole descent, and which is like, you know, mixed ancestry with European and black. But I don't understand the concept of her not wanting to be black because she's been so vocal about being black. Like, her last album, her last couple albums have been very black centered. Very black, and like wanting to build black women up. So for them to create this narrative, I'm not understanding, like, where's the concept that because she put a blonde wig on, even though that was to match the outfit.
That's the theme,
platinum,
but it's Renaissance, it's silver.
She put platinum blonde on.
Right.
I don't know what I think people were being very dense and trying to make something out of nothing. But her mama cleared that.
I was gonna bring Mama Tina popped off on Instagram. She went off a few days ago. Tina knows, Mama Tina went on she had a full moment where she was just getting the people together, you know, in layman's terms, but she was really, really upset. What are your thoughts about that? I'm shocked.
For one, I think people forget Tina is she from Texas. I think she's from Texas. She's born in Texas, but she from, you know, her ancestry's from Louisiana. She definitely showed a Southern belle could be sweet, but do not cross a Southern belle, and she protected her baby, and I don't think there's nothing wrong with that, you know.
And she was just calling out people, saying that, you know, a lot of people were just, you know, really jealous and hateful towards Beyonce, you know, saying that she doesn't want to be black and how she's not a black woman, when she actually has advocated for black women and all underdogs who are not even black. She always advocates.
And it's horrible because underdog. I think Tina, I don't think we put into perspective that these are still humans. So imagine Tina has been Beyonce's been in like in the media since she was 15 years old, and she's now in her 40s.
Right.
So I can only imagine like Tina having to be a mother. You know, all mothers are very protective of their children, so to have to constantly hear people pick at your child, I know it gets exhausting. Like I can only imagine, like, even, and Beyonce even talks about, like, you know, people picking with her daughter in the film, Blue Ivy. So it's, I think just sometimes people forget that these are still humans with feelings, and I don't think Tina did anything wrong, because I know my mama would have done the same thing.
She would be very defend your daughter.
Exactly, as she should.
Well, I don't know if you've heard, but The Color Purple is releasing a new soundtrack, and they have artists such as Fantasia, Alicia Keys, Usher, Coco Jones, and Megan Thee Stallion, who will be on the new soundtrack. Fantasia from American Idol, she played in the 2007 Broadway play, but now this is a reprising of her role. So how do you feel? I know I'm super, super excited. I love Alicia Keys and Coco Jones and Megan.
Well, I think overall I'm excited to see this new version of The Color Purple. I feel like as a black girl growing up on watching like BET, this movie used to always be on like BET. So I've seen it a million times, but I think it definitely is. It tells a very important part of like being black woman in America, especially like American South during this time period. That I think that's why it was so impactful. So it's going to be interesting to see how they redo it. And I'm excited to see the soundtrack, because I was like, Megan Thee Stallion and Alicia Keys on the same soundtrack. And it's like, they have such big hitters. It's like, I'm really excited. I love a good soundtrack. And isn't it supposed to be a musical? Like
I believe so. Yeah, this is a reprise of the musical.
So
yes.
I love a good musical.
No, I do too, and I'm really excited because once again, Coco Jones has had a great year. Usher is going to be at the Super Bowl next year, so they have a lot.
R&B making a comeback. It looked like
and Megan just released Cobra, so it'll be super, super, super fun. All right, so transitioning, Keke Palmer. So according to close sources, earlier today she has requested that the restraining order hearing is pushed back so her and Darius can attend mediation and try to work things out, right? Because we all know, I don't know if everyone knows watching this, but Keke Palmer did file a restraining order and custody of her child against her baby's father, Darius Jackson. So what are your thoughts about that?
I think, well, for one, I feel like I grew up with Keke. Like, I remember Keela and the Bee. She had her show, True Jackson. So I feel like I've grown up with her. And she's been very, like, you know, she's been a highlight of my life. She's so funny. I see myself in Keke, like, to see her like a goofy black girl. There's not, you know, in the media, that's not normally the figure that we get to see. So I really identify with her being, like, more on the goofy side. So it was a little heartbreaking to see, you know, her talk about dealing with abuse and domestic violence and things like that. But I think, you know, everybody goes through, and again, like I said with Beyonce, we're all humans, even though we see them as celebrities and stuff, they're still humans and they're dealing with stuff. So hopefully there is a child in the mix of this. So I hope everything can work out, because there's nothing worse than a child growing up in like a broken home or like toxic relationship. So hopefully the mediation works and they're able to, even if they're not back together, they can build some type of healthy relationship for their child.
To co-parent, right?
I think that's
I look at Keke Palmer as like today's Brandy. You know, I know Keke wasn't like Cinderella or anything like that, but I feel like
she was on Broadway.
She was. Yeah, she did play Cinderella.
Yeah,
I feel like Keke Palmer is today's equivalent of Brandy. You know what I mean? You know, Brandy is still Brandy, respectfully, but Keke Palmer is just such a treasure for young black women and black women as a whole. So when I saw it happen, I was like shocked. I was just like, oh my God, Keke Palmer? Like,
yeah, we was ready. I don't know. I was ready to go to war for her. I was like, not Keke. And she don't bother nobody. She's so, you know, she's so friendly,
strong, and just so smart.
And she's so talented. She can sing, she can act.
She has her own production company now.
Yeah, so
Key TV.
I love her, and I just, you know, like I said, I just wish the best for her and everything work out. And but I think too, I feel like what's inspiring about this is through this whole situation, she's still continuing to work. She just hosted the Soul Train Awards.
Yeah.
So it's just like she's very much example of, like, you know, getting through stuff and still showing up. Right. And I think that's the biggest thing that I'm learning from watching her go through her trials and tribulations.
Thank you. No, thank you for sharing that. You know, I think that once again, whatever she decides to do, you know, the child is involved, and that's what matters the most, is baby Leo.
Exactly.
So, thank you so much, Maya.
No
it was
thank you for
fun.
having me. This was so much fun. This was fun.
No, thank you for being here for episode 1. I really, really appreciate having you.
It was so special. Oh my God, I'm the first guest.
Yes, and that's it, girlfriend. I'll call you later. I'm Kaleef Starks, and thank you for tuning in to The Stark Effect. Thank you so much. It was so fun having you.